Welcome back, everybody. For this deep dive, we're going to be getting into content marketing and SEO.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be focusing specifically on creating content that's going to rank well, but also really connect with your audience.
Right.
And for this, we have a really interesting article from Now Technology Systems.
Okay.
They're an Australian web design and marketing company.
Cool.
So they really know their stuff.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And we're going to be using their article as a guide.
Cool.
So think of this as your cheat sheet for making your content stand out online because it's a very crowded space.
Oh, sure.
You know? So one of the things that really jumped out at me at the beginning of the article was how they talk about keyword research and they compare it to a guiding star.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Which I thought was a really cool analogy.
Yeah, really drives the point home.
Yeah, it does. So can you maybe break down why keyword research is so important?
Well, it's like, you're planning a party. You're not just going to send out invites and say party.
Right.
You want to have like a theme.
Right.
You want to tell people what it's about.
Right.
So keyword research is figuring out what that theme is for your content.
Okay.
It's understanding what words people are actually typing in when they're looking for information.
So it's like speaking their language.
Exactly.
Okay.
You wouldn't throw a Western-themed party in the middle of Tokyo and expect people to show up.
Right.
So you need to make sure that your keywords are relevant to your target market.
Gotcha.
And now, technology systems, being Australian, they really emphasize localized keywords.
Right.
So instead of just saying best coffee shops, you say best coffee shops in Sydney.
Right.
So you really target who you're going for.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, are there any tools that can help us with this keyword research?
Oh, for sure. There's things like Google Keyword Planner.
Okay.
There's SEMrush.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really great tools out there.
Awesome. And I bet those will probably come up later, too, as we go.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. Now, before we get too deep into the weeds of keywords, now Technology Systems emphasizes that it's really important to understand your audience.
Right.
Like before you even start creating content.
Before you do anything.
Yeah. So how do we actually get to know our audience better?
Well, one thing you can do is you can really dive into your analytics.
Okay.
If you have a website, your analytics can tell you a lot about who is already engaging with your content.
So like their demographics and stuff?
Demographics, interests, even how they got to your site.
Wow. Okay.
And another thing you can do is look at customer feedback.
Okay.
Are you getting the same questions over and over again?
Right.
Are people asking for more in-depth explanations or step-by-step guides?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that can tell you a lot about what they're looking for.
So it's like we're playing detective a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
It can be fun.
Yeah. So now let's get into the meat of the content itself.
Okay.
Now, Technology Systems recommends that we aim for articles that are at least 1,000 words.
Yeah, longer content tends to rank better.
But why is that?
Well, it's not just about the word count.
Right.
It's about being able to really dive deep into a subject, demonstrate your expertise, and really provide more value to the reader.
So would you say that quality is more important than quantity when it comes to word count?
100%.
Okay, so we could have a 2,000-word article that's just fluff.
Right, exactly.
And it wouldn't do any good.
It'll be useless.
Okay, so it's about making sure that it's valuable and engaging.
Yeah, make sure it answers questions that people might have.
Provides real insights. Okay, now let's talk about meta tags, because those can be tricky.
They can be a little bit, yeah.
I always struggle with those.
So meta tags are like the first impression of your content.
Okay.
It's the title tag and the meta description that you see in the search results.
Right.
So you want them to be enticing.
So they're like a little movie trailer almost.
Exactly. You want them to be exciting, draw people in.
So how do we write meta tags that are really captivating but don't sound too salesy?
Yeah, you don't want to be too pushy.
Right.
Now, Technology Systems, they give us some character limits to keep in mind.
Okay, that's helpful.
So you want to keep your title tag under 60 characters.
Okay.
And your meta description around 155.
Okay, so we've got to make every word count.
Every word counts.
Okay, cool. Now let's move on to links.
All right.
Internal and external.
Okay.
Can you give us a quick explanation of what those are and why they matter?
Okay, so internal links are like building pathways within your website.
Okay.
You're guiding visitors to other relevant content.
Gotcha.
And you're also signaling to Google that your site is very comprehensive.
So it helps with SEO too.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
External links, on the other hand, those point to other sources outside of your website.
Okay.
So it's kind of like citing your sources in a research paper.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
It helps with credibility.
Okay.
And it also provides context for your readers.
So basically, internal links are about keeping people on your site.
Yeah, keep them exploring.
And external links are about building trust.
And giving them more information.
Awesome. Now, Technology Systems mentions that Australians check their phones over 100 times a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know. So that brings us to mobile friendliness.
Mm-hmm.
Our content needs to be optimized for those smaller screens.
For sure.
So what does that actually mean?
So it's not just about making sure that your website is accessible on a phone.
Right.
It's about creating a really smooth, enjoyable experience.
Okay.
So that means using responsive designs that adapt to the screen size.
Okay.
Making sure it loads quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Easy navigation.
Okay, so if it's hard to use on a phone, people are just going to go somewhere else.
Pretty much.
And it also impacts our SEO.
Oh yeah, Google cares about that a lot.
So mobile friendliness is good for both users and search engines.
Definitely.
Okay. Now this is a fun one, multimedia.
Yes.
I love using images and videos in my content.
Me too.
It just makes it so much more engaging.
And it can help explain things more easily.
Right. Like some things are just better shown visually.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, right?
Exactly. And then we also have to remember alt text for images.
Oh, that's an important one.
It's not just for accessibility, is it?
No, it helps search engines understand what the image is about, too.
So another SEO boost.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, now I want to talk about giving older content new life.
Ah, yes, the archives.
We all have those blog posts that are just sitting there gathering dust.
Right.
So what are some ways that we can dust those off and make them relevant again?
Well, one thing you could do is turn that blog post into a podcast episode.
Oh, very meta.
Right?
Yeah, we could take one of our old posts and turn it into a discussion.
Exactly.
I like that. What are some other ideas?
Well, you could update an old post with new info, new statistics, new examples.
Okay.
Or you could turn a series of blog posts into an ebook.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Or even create a video summarizing the key points.
So many possibilities.
There's so many options.
And it's a great way to get more mileage out of our content.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, now Technology Systems emphasizes that we have to constantly be monitoring and adjusting our content.
Yeah, the internet's always changing.
Right. So how can we stay on top of those changes?
Well, using tools like Google Analytics can be really helpful.
Tough.
It gives you so much data about how your content is performing.
So it's not just about setting it and forgetting it.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so we have to be willing to adapt and experiment.
Always experimenting.
Okay, great. I think that's a great place to wrap up this first part of our deep dive.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
We've covered so much.
So much good stuff.
From keywords to mobile friendliness to giving old content new life.
Can't wait to see what we talk about next.
Me too. We'll be back with part 2, where we'll explore even more insights from Now Technology Systems.
Sounds great. So we were talking about, how important it is to be adaptable in the digital world.
Right. Always changing.
But one thing that never goes out of style is authenticity.
Yeah, for sure. And I like how Now Technology Systems put it. They said authenticity and value always win.
Definitely. I think that's something we can lose sight of sometimes.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in the SEO stuff.
Technical stuff.
Yeah, that we forget about actually connecting with people.
Yeah. It's like if you try too hard to impress someone, you just end up looking fake.
Exactly. People can see right through that.
So how do we bring more authenticity into our content? Is it just about being ourselves?
Well, it's about finding your voice and letting that shine through.
Mm-hmm.
What are you passionate about?
Right.
What experiences can you share that your audience will connect with?
So it's about sharing our unique perspectives.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now Technology Systems is an Australian company, and they talk about how important it is to have that local expertise.
Yeah, like knowing the Australian market.
Do you think that's important for businesses in other parts of the world too?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's about understanding your target audience on a deeper level.
So it's not just about knowing their demographics.
No, it's about understanding their cultural nuances, their values, their interests.
What makes them tick.
Exactly.
So even if we're not targeting a specific location, we can still think about our audience in a more localized way.
Yeah, think about the communities your audience belongs to.
Okay.
What are their shared experiences? What language do they use?
Okay.
What are their inside jokes?
So it's about finding those common threads that tie them together.
Exactly.
I like that. Now, I wanted to touch on something we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Technology Systems is a web design and marketing company.
Right.
And it made me realize how all these aspects of digital marketing are connected.
Yeah, it's all intertwined.
It's like a symphony orchestra.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that analogy.
You need all the instruments to work together.
To create a beautiful sound.
Exactly. So you could have amazing content, but if your website is clunky and hard to use...
Yeah, it's like a beautiful melody played on an out-of-tune piano.
And on the flip side, a beautiful website with no good content.
It's like a beautifully decorated stage with no performers.
Right. It's all about finding that balance.
Yeah, that synergy between form and function.
So our website needs to be visually appealing and easy to use.
Right.
And our content needs to be informative and engaging.
Exactly.
It's like the difference between reading a textbook and reading a novel.
Ooh, yeah. One is just information.
And the other one draws you in.
With a story.
Right. And that's what we want our content to do.
We want it to be memorable.
At the end of their article, Now Technology Systems has a call to action.
Oh, yeah.
They say, ready to see how transformative your content can be? Let us put your business on the map with strategies that deliver beyond expectations.
I like it. It's a bold statement.
But I think it shows how powerful content marketing can be.
For sure, when it's done right.
So as we're wrapping up this second part of our deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways so far?
Well, we've talked about the importance of keyword research,
Right.
understanding our audience, creating high-quality content,
Right.
optimizing for mobile,
Right.
and using multimedia.
And beyond the technical stuff.
We've also talked about authenticity, storytelling,
Right.
and creating a really good online experience.
So it's not just about checking off boxes.
No, it's about being creative and curious
Right.
and really wanting to connect with your audience.
Okay, so even if we're not business owners, these principles still apply to our online content.
100%. Whether you're writing a blog post, sharing a video, or even just posting on social media.
It's all about creating something valuable.
Something that people want to engage with.
So to wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. How can you bring more authenticity and value into your own content?
What stories can you share?
Yeah.
What unique perspectives do you have?
Don't be afraid to let your personality shine through.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment.
And most importantly, don't be afraid to connect with your audience.
Connect on a human level.
We'll be right back with part 3 after a short break.
All right, so we're back. And I wanted to pick up on something from Now Technology Systems article.
Okay.
They were talking about how important those localized keywords are.
Right, like the best coffee shops in Sydney.
Yeah, exactly. But it got me thinking, even if we're not targeting a specific region, can we still apply that concept of localization to our content?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
It's all about really understanding your audience. Even if you're not focused on a location.
Right.
They still have shared interests and experiences and even their own language.
Right. So it's like we're finding the keywords that resonate with their specific community.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. So let's say you're creating content about sustainable living.
Okay.
Instead of just saying eco-friendly products,
Yeah.
you think about who you're talking to.
Okay.
Are you talking to zero waste enthusiasts?
Okay.
Or vegan parents? Or maybe DIYers who like to upcycle?
Right. They all have their own little niches.
Exactly.
So for zero waste people, we might use keywords like composting tips or plastic-free swaps.
Right. And for vegan parents, maybe it's vegan lunchbox ideas.
Or cruelty-free kids' clothing.
Exactly.
And for the DIYers, upcycled furniture projects or repurposing old clothes.
You got it. You're speaking directly to those communities.
It's like we're finding that secret handshake to get into their club.
I like that.
And then they're more likely to share it with each other, too, because it really resonates with them.
It's like when you find a new band that you love.
Right. You want to tell all your friends.
Exactly.
And when they share our content, that helps us get more visibility.
Or traffic.
More success. So localization is really about getting to know our audience on a deeper level.
Yeah. Understanding their passions, their struggles.
Their aspirations.
Exactly.
Making them feel seen.
Like you really get them.
And that's what makes content stand out.
Definitely.
It's not just about giving information. It's
Right.
about making that connection.
Human connection.
So to wrap up our deep dive,
Yes.
think about your own audience. What are their localized keywords?
Even if it's not a place,
What's their language?
what makes them feel understood?
I think that's a great challenge.
It is.
That's it for our deep dive into content strategies.
That was awesome.
We hope you enjoyed it
I did.
and that you got some helpful tips.
Lots of them.
Remember, creating great content is a journey.
It is.
We're always learning and experimenting.
Right, connecting.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been fun.